Hi, I'm Angela Ryder. Thanks for joining me today. I wanted to tell you about the noise that can interfere with your guidance and how you can kind of off gas it. So, guidance is always available to us, always coming in, but if you're not open to receive it, you're going to miss it. And most of the time, we are getting signs. We just don't know how subtle they are. So we keep asking for signier signs like, okay, universe, I think you're trying to tell me something. Can you make that louder? Can you make it with flashing lights? Can you have a sign that points here? But we just go about ignoring the guidance that's there, the signs that are coming there. And what was once a whisper starts to feel kind of like a sledgehammer. And I've done it that way. 0 out of 10 would not recommend. Waiting until the universe really gives you a thunk upside the head is not the way to go. One of the biggest reasons guidance feels hard to hear is just the daily noise that we live in. We're constantly surrounded by information, emotions, options, content, energy. Just living life is loud, really loud. Even things that are technically important that we have to pay attention to just still become part of the noise when there's just so much of it. And there's a sound engineering term called signal to ratio. And if the noise is too loud, you're not going to hear the signal. And that's kind of what happens with our intuition and guidance. And this is an image I always come back to. It's like, imagine you're at a rock concert where hundreds of bands are playing at the same time. The crowd is loud, kind of a mosh pit going around. Everything's vibrating, music thumping, and your intuition and your guides are standing right next to you, speaking softly. Hey, you're not going to hear them unless something extreme happens. So, like a big flash of light. Instead, you're getting a metaphorical body slam or life going, hey, pay attention. And, we want to be able to hear those subtle signals. The issue isn't the guidance is not coming. It's that we can't hear it. The noise of our life is drowning it out. So what we need to do is regularly step out of that rock concert arena. When you're constantly in noise, your nervous system stays tuned to that frequency, like that jittery, uptight, closed sense. And it takes like a little movement and time for things to settle back down so you can create that inner quiet again, that space again. And I'm not going to tell you you have to do silent meditation. That's just another thing that we struggle with, is trying to shut our mind off, and then we get all worked up about that. What I want to share is just a simple, doable practice you can integrate every day into your life. It's not more work or something you have to do that adds something more. It's something that helps you do your life and be able to clear the noise at the same time. So this is it. Set your device and let everybody around you know, do not disturb you. And then choose just a 15-minute activity that you had to do anyway. 30 minutes is ideal, but start where you are with the 15 minutes. And there's just 3 things you have to note. Make it involve gentle movement, and it requires little thinking or no thinking, and it's not physically intense. So this could be walking, showering, folding laundry, light tidying up, watering the plants, anything that's repetitive and simple that you would have to do anyway. And then before you start, just say, okay, I'm going to do this. And before you start, just say your intention out loud. If you can. I mean, if you don't have privacy to do that, you can just say it internally. But it helps for you to say it out loud, because that vibration in your chest is kind of like the self-attunement of talking to your higher self and spirit team. And just say, hey team, I'd like help clearing out the noise while I do this activity, and I'm open to any guidance that comes through and any support. Thanks. That's it. That's all you have to do. And then you do the activity. And, don't try to quiet your mind because that is not the goal. Instead, just notice what's coming up. Thoughts, concerns, emotions, mental chatter. This is the clearing phase. And that's why I say, the first 15 minutes are just the off-gassing, the clearing phase. And, at any point you need support, like you are finally resting your nervous system and a lot of emotion or something is coming up, you can ask your team for support. You can say, hey, team, I'm struggling right now. Could you help me feel supported? You don't have to be fancy about it. Just ask for what you need. So during the activity, you might get insights, ideas, that's there. Okay. And you might not. It's okay too. Sometimes you just have a lot of yada, yada, yada happening. And I'd recommend that you carry a notebook around with you or be able to jot it down later if you have anything that comes up as seems like intuitive guidance or any aha moments. So just a reminder to step out of the noise and allow yourself to do a little off-gassing and clearing and be able to hear those subtle clues that are always trying to get to you. This isn't something you have to add to your to-do list. This is something that you're going to do while you're doing your life anyway. And the more you practice clearing this way, the easier it becomes. And you'll notice you're receiving guidance all the time, even when it's a little bit noisier. It's just you've created that inner space so that even if life around you is loud, you have at least created some internal space so your guides don't have to be really loud to get your attention. You just are able to notice them more clearly, even when it's subtle. And the last thing I wanted to, again, point out is when you're starting out, it's going to take about 15 minutes of movement to clear enough noise to create that inner space. And if you can, that's why 30 minutes is ideal. The second half is where the insight usually happens. Over time, it gets faster. Sometimes just setting the intention is enough. And I will leave you with this. You are always guided, period. Whether you sense it or not, support is already there. This practice just helps you hear it more clearly. And it doesn't have to be dramatic. It just takes a little time to open up the space and create an environment where your guides have access and they don't have to shout over the noise. Take what resonates, leave the rest, but I hope you try this practice and find that it's an easy way to integrate into your daily practice so that you give yourself some space, you off-gas and create some inner peace, and it allows your intuition to be able to connect with you and guide you. Much love.